Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. So, I'm having to record my audio separately because I don't know how long this camera is going to last because I forgot to charge my battery. I've used it all up. All of it. It's all gone. So this is a third party, and yes, there is I'll try not to move too much because there's a crappy chair I'm sat on. Anyway, getting on with the video. My camera may die. If my camera dies, I will just switch over to this audio and yeah. Anyway, so getting into what this video is about, let's just microphone on. Let's start up Lightroom. I wanted to get another editing video done because I haven't actually done one in a while. They shouldn't be in this folder. We'll just move them out of the folder. They're not for color grading. Yeah, I wanted to get another video done of editing pictures from the DJI Mavic 3, which I don't have because that's also on charge because I'm useless with batteries. Anyway, even though I have about 3 of them. Anyway, moving on to recording on this. Okay, so let's get into it. So as you can see here, you can see this. They're really nice images. They are really nice images. Also, sorry for the bad lighting in here. I didn't bring any lighting kits. The photos in this, from this camera on the Mavic 3, even the previous Mavic 3, I mean this is the Mavic 3 Pro, but there's not a lot to do. Look, let's bring them highlights back. Let's bring the whites down, maybe lift some of the, no, let's drop the blacks, drop some whites, maybe bring up the exposure, but like, I could probably just tap the auto button. Okay, maybe not that simple, but you get my point. The files are, what are they? They're DNG, 1/20th of a second. So this is quite a long exposure, but I did have a ND filter on the front of it. But we've got 20.6 megabytes of information. And look, I mean, yeah, okay, they start falling apart here, but it's just nuts at how much detail and how high res these pictures actually are. Okay, let's get back to editing these. So what can we do about the sky? Well, we can go into this. We can, come on, there we go. Select, no, not the subject. I wanted, select sky. There we go. Okay, so let's go into that and then bring down more highlights. Maybe drop an exposure a little bit. And then look, we've brought a lot of that back. Let's go into detail. So let's sharpen it into effects, texture, clarity, dehaze. There we go. That's what I want, clarity. Look, it just brings it all back. The information is there. It's just, and it's so easy to just edit. Look, bring up the brightness. And look, that is basically done. If we go to another image, look, this one isn't as well framed, okay? But just to show you, look, these are Peter McKinnon's presets. And a lot of these look pretty good. I really quite like that one. But like, they do look really nice. Okay, let's go with this one. Let's look again at the Peter McKinnon. Look at that. It is just instantly, okay, that's done. For some reason, it's a bit wonky. There we go. Look at that. And then let's maybe have some dehazing in. Maybe not that much. But like, it's just ridiculous that I don't even really want to kind of waste your time with a whole video on this because of just how easy and how good these files are to work with. I absolutely love it. I really do. And it's made especially easy when you're working on a tablet like this. Or I had to readjust the microphone. when you're working on a tablet like this. This is, bear in mind, this is, you know, the iPad Pro from last, 2022. So it's already 2 years old and now one generation out of date, thanks to Apple. Okay, let's have a look at this one. This one is a little bit, settings could not be loaded. Reset. So does that mean I can't? Oh, I think I've lost this image. I think that's, no, I've got it back. Okay, good, great, that's what I want. But like, even without editing, the base image is good. That's the, what's the word? That's the thing with having a good camera, with a good photographer. Sorry to toot my own horn, but I am, to an extent. Now, actually, a little bit of a side rant here, because people go, oh, it's not the equipment that makes the photographer, it's the photographer. Yes, that is undeniably true to an extent. Because if you're a photographer and you have a crap camera, yes, you can make some good images that might tell a story, but they might not look as nice. And the process of capturing that image is going to be longer. And if speed is of the essence, sometimes it is, having the latest and greatest, or the tool that works for you, is the best thing to have. So, for example, if it wasn't for my YouTube channel and some of my client work, I could probably use just this 6D Mark II, because it's 20 megapixels. It's EF lens. It's a reasonable price. It's got decent-ish autofocus in video mode, 1080p at about 60 FPS, I believe. But it doesn't do enough for me. Could that do my job? Could I do my job with this? Yes. Could I do it well? I beg to differ. I do. I could get the job done, and the pictures and the outcome would be nice because I'm good at what I do, let's face it. I'm sorry to toot my own horn. I'm not the first one to toot my own horn, but yeah, having a tool that fits your job is the most important thing. Hence the fact as to why I brought the Canon R6. And it's again when I brought my drone. We were out at the local WEX, I think that's how you pronounce it, WEX, in central London. And my partner even pointed out, hey, why don't you get the Mini 4? And I was like, yeah, I could get the Mini 4. It's cheaper. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than what I paid for the Pro. And it can do vertical. That's really cool. But there is a downside to it. It's small. The sensor's not as big. So the details aren't going to be as good. Yes, there are more megapixels, but the low light isn't going to be as good. The dynamic range, and I don't think it had D-Log, neither. And the extended battery time. It's a sub 250 gram drone, but to get a decent, battery life out of it, you had to buy a separate battery that takes it over the 250 gram weight. So, and that battery, as far as to my knowledge, wasn't sold here in the UK. It was only sold in America and I think some parts of China or Asia, sorry. I could be wrong with that bit. So, and it's actually kind of annoying because I wouldn't mind having something smaller but just as capable as the Pro, because I hurt my back. I hurt my back carrying this stuff. I really do. I went out and we walked, 11 kilometers yesterday as of recording this video. And I was carrying just this, the R6 and the 17 to 40 that I'm currently using. That was it. I didn't take this. I didn't take this other lens as well. Just this and my drone. And my back hurt. It really did. Now, bear in mind, yes, I was using my Billingham bag, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. Right, anyway, back to editing this picture here. Oh, that's my hand, sorry. Where do we, oh, we haven't edited it at all. So I think actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into dehaze first. Look at that. Do I need to do anything to it? I mean, I could probably bring some of that vibrancy back. And saturation, there we go. Look, it just looks so good. Look, let's drop the highlights, drop the whites, drop the blacks. Maybe actually, no, lift some of the blacks, add in some contrast. And that's a basic image. Like, it's done. To an extent, it's done. I mean, yes, we could then, you know, go through these, see what we think. I quite like that one. Don't like that one. But it is so easy these days to edit raw pictures. And I absolutely love it. I really do. You know what, actually? I don't have time to edit anymore. Actually, no, maybe we could do... Let's do this one. Yeah, let's do this one. Let's have a look at what auto does. Just auto up here. There we go. It brings back most of it. Now we've got Oliver's mount just here. Now obviously that's not going to be very much in focus because, well, I'm miles away. But we can go back into the effects, do the clarity, the texture, the dehaze. Ow, my foot just dropped. And again, I don't need to do much. I can just look. We've done the highlights. Oh, we've done all that. Okay. Maybe that, I suppose. Maybe actually just straighten it out a bit, just like that. It's so easy to edit. It is so easy to edit nowadays, and especially if you're just doing, you know, kind of basic, you know, exposure, saturation, colors, you know, white balance, stuff like that. Yes, it's obviously hard if you're using Photoshop and you're adding stuff and taking stuff away, then yes, it becomes a lot more difficult. But for me as a photographer, I like to get things right in camera. It's just easier. And this is the result. This is the result. Now, whether or not you like this actual picture or not, I personally don't. I think this framing on this particular picture looks terrible. But if we go back to something like this here, that just effects, let's dehaze it, texture, highlights, shadows. That one looks a lot better. Like, what more do you want out of a camera? Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me in this video. And yes, there is a folder on here labeled 6D photos. I will be editing the 6D pictures after the review is published. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next one.